It might be looking like we're starting a Transformers week, but we're not, because these are not Transformers. That's right, friends. Today we are taking a look at Optimus Prime and Megatron. And what I mean when I say these are not Transformers is that these are actually figures in the R.E.D line, the Robot Enhanced Design subline of the Transformers Generations toy line, which means that they are action figures and they do not transform. So they're not really Transformers. I mean, I guess they're Transformers in the sense that the characters are Transformers and they're part of the Transformers license. But these are basically action figures of the Generation 1 designs for Optimus Prime and Megatron. And I think they got like Soundwave out now, and I'm sure they're going to do like Starscream and other characters, but I'm pretty interested in Megatron and Optimus Prime, so I just had to get them. Anyways, let's take a look at their sculpts. This looks exactly like Generation 1 Optimus Prime. Look at that face. Nice work there. The little antenna and the smokestacks from the truck are rubbery, although I guess they're not going to be part of the truck because there is no truck mode, on this guy at all. But I mean, everything is pretty accurate to how Prime looked in the cartoon. Like, big blocky chest, Autobot insignia is sculpted on there, unlike on, some old toys where it's like just a decal. I mean, I really have no complaints with the sculpt. I like the little line work that's sculpted in there. Give him a little bit of detail. Looks like Optimus Prime. I like it. Pretty much same thing goes for Megatron. I see nothing wrong with the sculpt here. I mean, that is an evil looking face. I like how he's got like his eyes a little more recessed than Prime, make him have his sort of angry brow kind of thing, and his boxy little helmet. The helmet always kind of reminds me of like Shredder from Ninja Turtles. Like all those 80s cartoon characters and the bad guys wearing helmets, just like Cobra Commander, Megatron, and Shredder. What was going on there? But yep, he's got, Prime just had sculpted fists he came packaged with, but Megatron has a left hand that's a little bit open. He's got the shin guards that look like the gun when he transforms into a gun in the old toy line, but I mean, he doesn't transform, so whatever. But I like the little sculpted details in there. I like that it's reminiscent of that. It looks like Generation 1 Megatron. Again, the Decepticon insignia is sculpted on. It's not a decal. And this is painted too, obviously, but I mean, it's sculpted. Everything that should be sculpted is sculpted. It looks exactly like what it's supposed to look like. I got no issues with it. Looking at the paint on these guys, everything is pretty simple, pretty clean for the most part. Like all that yellow, no slop there. Look at the eyes on Prime. Like it's a very subtle shade of blue. It's really pale, but it's clean in there. Everything on his head is clean. I mean, for the most part, stuff's molded in the color it should be, but like, look, where they have to put paint, it's super clean lines, really good work there. Same thing goes for Megatron. I mean, I like the dark rings around his eyes, kind of make him look a little more evil. And does he have eyebrows up there? Those look kind of like eyebrows up there. I mean, I like to think the one big ridge is his eyebrow. The one big black line above the two eyes is his eyebrows, like in an angry expression. But I mean, look, there's nothing missing on Megatron. For the most part, stuff that's supposed to be, whatever color is molded in the color it's supposed to be. But like, look, that's all paint and it is super duper clean. It's pretty simple. There's really only, two complaints I have. First of all, Prime, these little spotlights above the windows of the truck on the chest, why aren't they painted yellow? Like, they should be painted yellow, but I mean, no big deal. That's not really an issue. I understand they didn't want to do a few little dots up top. It's pretty unnoticeable. But second thing on Prime, what is with the Autobot insignia being like gray underneath? Like, look at Megatron's insignia where it's like it's gray underneath because he's gray underneath. This should be red underneath, but I guess if it were red on red, it'd be hard to notice. Those are both very, very minor things with Prime. What's not so minor is an issue on both of these guys. On the legs. Why is that peg blue? Why is that peg gray? I mean, dark gray. It should be light gray, just like this peg, and they should both, like, match the leg. That'd be a lot better. It's not like there's a different color on the other side you're trying to match it to. Why do you have a blue sticking out on both sides when it could just been this white, light gray color for both of them? That's just really, like, poor planning, in my opinion, but honestly, very, very minor. This paint is like a 9 out of 10. Super clean, super good job. But Prime is definitely a little bit weaker than Megatron in this regard. Ha ha! Now let's move on to the articulation, because that is a pretty big selling point with an action figure, of course. Now, Optimus Prime has a ball joint head, and he's got these sort of hinge balls, I guess you want to... Yeah, they are on balls, but like, these guys do not have the typical like Marvel Legends articulation scheme because they're so boxy and blocky, but like he can swivel all the way up, but then you can't swivel anymore when you do that. He can swivel all the way around. They have pivots at what I guess would be the shoulders and double elbows, which, I mean, I think they should get above 90, but the design is kind of limiting that there. Then the wrists are on ball hinges, and it's a big ball that's in there, and it can just go up and down, no side to side, swivel all the way around. Prime swivels at the waist, no ab crunch or anything like that. Hips are on ball joints, they can do the splits so far, go so far forward and so far back. Double knee joints, and get this, can they ever get range on those? That's really good, Hasbro. They swivel at the thigh as well, and then the ankles are probably my favorite. Like, they go up and down just a little bit, but then pull them out, and they can go up and down way further, and they get side to side because they're on this, like, ball joint on a peg scheme. It's weird. It, like, pops in and out, but then it's like a hinge ball joint down there, and hey, great range. I am not complaining. What I will complain about, though, is Megatron has pretty much all that stuff, but he has an ab crunch. It's very clicky sounding. But he can swivel too, and like, why doesn't Optimus Prime get an ab crunch? Like, you see this grill in the truck, why couldn't that just be like a separate piece where the ab, where the red would like rotate around? See like how his middle part stays still and the rest rotates around? Why couldn't Optimus Prime have that? I don't know. Megatron's got slightly better paint, slightly better articulation. Take that, Prime! Megatron also has his little skirt things that can swivel up to get out of the way of his legs. And is it me, or does he do the splits better than Prime does? Yeah, he does! Megatron's just killing it in this review. I guess Optimus does have these, which are the swiveling window hinge things that Megatron doesn't, but that's not really a point of articulation. That's more a thing for accessories, which we'll get to right after we look at the packaging. Packaging for Optimus and Megatron is pretty red, which makes sense when considering the name. And they also got some pretty cool G1 artwork in the lower corner there on their right side, relative to the figure at least. There's this weird, like, flakiness of, like, the colors of the artwork on the character, like, flaking off, like Megatron's silver is, like, going away, and Optimus's red is, like, going away. It's, like, you can clearly see what's going on there. It's like his paint's getting scraped off. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it, because, like, I mean, I don't know, but it definitely looks cool. Other side of the packaging has a great little window to show off all the accessories each figure comes with, and on the back we get some promo shots of the figures holding all their little accessories. Down here in the tiny text you can see it says, figure does not convert, meaning these Transformers do not transform like we saw earlier. Anyways, let's open these bad boys up already. I think we need to get some tape on the top of Megatron here. And pull this out. Well, that's easy. Well, the accessories are in their own little slot in the side there. And oh, they also slide out super easy. This is really good packaging. I mean, you can see like the card art in there in the back is like this little diagram of Megatron. Optimus Prime slid out just as easily, and his card art in the back is also a little diagram of him in there. So this packaging is pretty cool, but the fact it's angled on the sides like this means it's not like as stackable as I'd like. I mean, like if you wanted to stack them up this way, like you're going to be wasting a lot of space, you know what I mean? But I mean, most people will stack a few this way, and I don't think we're going to get to too many of these figures. That's going to be a problem, at least for me, especially since I'm throwing the packaging away, but it is really cool and really convenient. There aren't even too many twist ties. There's just one around the hips on Megatron here, and we'll cut that like this. Right? Oh, wow. A strong twist tie. But I'd rather there be one strong one than a million, because now he can mostly just pop out, but this gun cannon on his back kind of gets in the way, so it kind of like, it's hard to slot it through the little hole, so it kind of is gonna pop off when you're popping the figure out, and then his gun like really wants to suck his arm in that tray there. Oh, there we go. He's pretty much free. Just gotta pull this thing out and reattach it. And then Megatron's good. Optimus Prime is a little bit different because he's got twist ties around his window chest there, and then one that's sort of tucked up in the crotch right there. Let's try and cut both of those right now. It's really hugging the figure. I don't want to scratch him. Let's try and cut it. Oh, wow. The ones on Optimus are a lot stretchier for some reason. But once they're gone, he just pops out. Kind of easier than Megatron because he didn't have that back kibble to hold him in the packaging, but yeah, he's got two twist ties, so I mean, I guess it kind of evens out. The packaging's really cool, really collector friendly, except that it's, you know, not stackable, and it's pretty convenient how everything just slides out I don't think we need twist ties necessarily, but they are not too bad. Really awesome packaging, Hasbro. Now for accessories, Optimus Prime comes with 1, 2, 3, and 4 alternate hands, his energy battle axe, a big honkin' gun, and the Matrix of Leadership. Whereas Megatron comes with sort of 4 alternate hands, like here's 1, 2, and 3 of them. But then his 4th alternate hand is just kind of permanently holding this big old Energon cube, so I don't know if it really counts as a hand or an Energon cube there. And then he gets this really cool purple ball and chain weapon. So in terms of accessories, Optimus Prime might be winning out now, because he comes with 7 things, whereas Megatron only comes with 5.
You've lost, Megatron.
Prime comes packaged wearing 2 fists, and they both pop out pretty easily enough. 2 of his alternate hands are pretty much the same, with like 2 fingers slightly extended, and let's pop those in and see what he looks like with them on now. They went in easy enough, like all the hands do, and to me these look kind of just like relaxed hands, but I guess they could also be kind of like a Autobots roll out kind of pose, you know? I guess the gun does technically fit in these ones, but I mean, like, it's just too loose a grip. It's not meant for the gun. And the other 2 hands he comes with are both for the right hand. One is a pointing finger, which I guess is really meant for the rollout, or a kinda, you'll never get away with this, Megatron. But I don't know, I don't really picture Prime pointing with just 1 finger like that much. The other hand is the trigger finger hand, which is meant for the gun, and pops in easy enough. Let's get one of his, fists back in the left hand, because it's bothering me how it's just empty, but I mean, hey, he only came with 1 alternate left hand, so left hand can be a fist or it can be open, whereas the right hand can be a fist, can be open, can be a trigger finger, can be pointing. And then, if it is the trigger finger, let's see if we can't get that gun in there. And it is a pretty tight grip. Like, this is not going to slot in easy, I can already tell. And this is really hard plastic, so it's not like you can just stretch it open either. Whoa, I finally did it. The trigger finger hand is just way too tight. I mean, if you get it on the gun, just leave it on there, because it is way too tight and way too hard to pry open, even when it's all heated up and stuff. And then, on top of that, the handle on the gun here is all flexible and stuff, so that makes it even harder to pop on in, because it keeps mushing while the hand is, like, really firm compared to the gun being all rubbery and such. Anyways, now that the gun's on there, it looks pretty nice. There's pretty minimal paint apps, just painted gray up there on both sides. I got no issues with it, really, except that it's so hard to get into his hand, but that's more of an issue with the hand. Now, you might also try shoving that battle axe peg into his trigger finger hand, and yes, while it kind of works, this is not what you are supposed to do, actually. Actually, you are supposed to rip that hand on out, and that battle axe has its own peg, and it just pops in there. How cool does that look, friends? And it's articulated, too. It has a little, hinge swivel in there to get some up and down. Man, this thing is cool. This is a cool figure, Hasbro. I also like how it's like, translucent orange, because it's made of energy. Last accessory Prime's got is also one of the coolest. It is the Matrix of Leadership. It is painted A-okay. Got the yellow, got the blue there. I got no issues with it. And Prime's chest can open up like so. It's kind of stiff at first. Like, you really gotta pry it open, I think, or, push these little edges here. And now that I'm looking at it, I think these loose grip hands are just like perfect for posing him like he has opened up his own chest, And then what you do is you just pretty much wedge this guy in there with friction, and he'll stay. Nope, he won't. Yes, he will, if you do it right. And then you close the windows up, and Prime's got the Matrix of Leadership inside him. Looking pretty cool, honestly. I have no complaints with the accessories, except for the trigger finger hand being impossible to pry open. Megatron's accessories are pretty similar, except he don't get no Matrix of Leadership, of course. But he does have this little cannon that pops off his back, so you can count that as an accessory if you want. But it's not like you can hold it, so, I wouldn't. So unlike Prime, Megatron comes packaged with his right hand as a fist, and his left hand is in the open grip, but he does come with an alternate left fist right there, and his pointer finger goes on the left hand instead of the right, unlike Prime. And then the last true alternate hand he has is a open grip, which he only gets 1 of for some reason. It's pretty much the same mold as Prime's open grip hand here, with the 2 fingers slightly up there, but he only gets 1 for the left. So far, he's got 4 options for left hands and only 1 fist for the right hand. I don't think there's a single alternate right hand, even though the right hand pops off. That's kind of weird, Megatron. He does get one more hand, of course, but it's also kind of like an Energon cube, and this one is also a left hand. So what is going on? Megatron's got 5 things specifically meant for the left hand and like none for the right. I mean, I guess like the big gun thing is in the way, so like, you know, his poses with this hand would not be as important as the ones with the left hand, I guess. But that Energon cube looks pretty cool. I like how it's like translucent-ish purple. I mean, it's kind of opaque. Like, you can't see like quite through it as well as you can like the energy sword, but that's probably because like this is energy axe, I mean, but this is a lot thinner, obviously, and this is like just a big old cube. But man, this is a really good idea. I like that Hasbro did this. It looks great. And last up, Megatron has his giant energy mace, and finally we've got something that can plug into the right hand here, and it looks good doing it too. Although you can, you know, plug it into the left hand also, so it doesn't really make a big difference. It's designed to be either or. And so we finally got something that works for the right hand at least. Everything else is designed to be for the left hand, which is kind of odd, honestly. I would have liked at least like a open grip hand. I mean, it's not a big deal, honestly. This looks way cooler than any of the alternate hands, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised why he even comes with a gripping hand for the left hand when he doesn't have anything to, you know, grip. But still, awesome accessories. I can't think of anything more Hasbro should have included, really. I think we got more than we needed, honestly. Scale time. Now, Optimus Prime is about 6 inches tall, or 15.5 centimeters to the top of his head there, which is a teeny bit taller than Megatron, who comes in at, I don't know, 5 7/8 inches, about 15 centimeters to the top of his head. But if you count to that little cannon on the back, he's like, you know, 6 1/8 inch, 16 centimeters tall. So he could be about as tall as Prime if you count that little cannon, but go to the top of his head and nope, he's a bit shorter. And now here's Optimus Prime next to a Voyager-class Optimus Prime from Transformers Prime, and Megatron next to a Leader-class Megatron from the Generations toy line. Now, these are supposed to be 6-inch scale articulated figures akin to Marvel Legends, so here they are with a Marvel Legends Spider-Man and DC Universe Classics Batman, and they're actually a bit shorter, like, I mean, they're not in any kind of 6-inch scale because they would, like, obviously tower above Spider-Man, Batman, but they're not even, you know, for character terms in the sort of standard 6.5-inch superhero scale. They're more like a true 6-inch scale, which means they should scale up nicely with, like, you know, Japanese import figures like Figuarts and stuff. Although, I mean, they kind of will never really scale up nicely because they're supposed to be giant robots, you know, so, like, a human should be, like, you know, so tall right there. But you know what I mean? Like, if Optimus were the size of a human, you'd want him to scale, like, you know, head to head with Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's just a little too tall. At the end of the day, friends, these figures are a really cool concept. I'm really excited to see what Hasbro comes out with for the Robot Enhanced Design line, the red line, whatever you want to call it, you know? I mean, Transformers that don't transform is kind of like an oxymoron. You wouldn't think it'd be a good idea, but the Transformers characters as action figures is such a good idea. Like, the articulation is good. You can get so many great poses out of them. And we got a great amount of accessories. The sculpt, the paint are top notch. I mean, I think my real complaint is like the scale. Like, these guys are pretty much in a scale of their own, but I mean, they would have been anyway, because you're not going to have like a Transformer action figure scaled to like any kind of other figure, because they'd be pretty much like, you know, 3 feet tall or something like that. So I really recommend these guys if you see them. They are currently Walmart exclusives, but I think you can get them on Hasbro Pulse too. So until next time, peace out, YouTube.